Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. IRS updates FAQs, frequently asked questions on paid sick leave credit and family leave credit. IR 2021-26, January 29th, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service today posted updated FAQs, frequently asked questions, about recent legislation that extended and amended tax relief to certain small and mid-sized employers under the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, the FFCRA. The FAQs, frequently asked questions, are available on COVID-19 related tax credits for required paid leave provided by small and mid-sized businesses. FAQs. There's a link to that here. The updates to the FAQs, frequently asked questions, cover how the COVID-related Tax Relief Act of 2020, enacted December 27, 2020, extends the availability of the tax credits created by the FFCRA to eligible employers for paid sick and family leave provided through March 31st, 2021, as well as other amendments to the credits. The paid sick and family leave credits, which previously were available only until the end of 2020, have been extended for periods of leave taken through March 31st, 2021. The paid sick leave credit is designed to allow qualified businesses, those with fewer than 500 employees and who pay, quote, qualified sick leave wages, end quote, to get a credit for wages or compensation paid to an employee who is unable to work, including telework, because of coronavirus quarantine or self-quarantine, or has coronavirus symptoms and is seeking medical diagnoses. Eligible employers may claim credit for paid sick leave provided to an employee for up to 2 weeks, up to 80 hours, at the employee's regular rate of pay up to $511 per day and $5,110 in total. In addition, an eligible employer can receive the paid sick leave credit for employees who are unable to work due to caring for someone with coronavirus or caring for a child because the child's school or place of care is closed or the paid child care provider is unavailable due to the coronavirus. Eligible employers may claim the credit for paid sick leave provided to an employee for up to 2 weeks, up to 80 hours, at 2/3 the employee's regular rate of pay, or up to $200 per day and $2,000 in total. Employers are also entitled to a paid family leave credit for paid family leave provided to an employee equal to 2/3 of the employee's regular pay, up to $200 per day and $10,000 in total. Up to 10 weeks of qualifying leave can be counted toward the family leave credit. Eligible employers are entitled to immediately receive a credit in the full amount of the paid sick leave and family leave plus related health plan expenses and the employer's share of Medicare tax on the leave provided through March 31st, 2021. The refundable credit is applied against certain employment taxes on wages paid to all employees. Eligible employers may claim the credits on their federal employment tax returns, e.g. the Form 941, employers' quarterly federal tax returns. So obviously the tax returns filed quarterly, and so you'll be filing them on the Form 941 on a quarterly basis. But they can benefit more quickly from the credits by reducing their federal employment tax deposits. So we have this kind of concept that we've seen for many of these kind of laws that are coming into place here. They're saying when you file the quarterly return 941 at the end of the quarter, then typically that's usually an informational type of return, meaning for payroll taxes, you're going to be making the payment as you go, as you process the payroll, and then you have to actually make the payments of the withholdings. For example, federal income tax for the employees that was withheld, the Social Security, the Medicare, and then the employer portion of Social Security and Medicare. You pay those as you go, and then the 941 is an informational return which recalculates those taxes, payroll taxes, both employer and employee portion, compares that to what you actually paid, and if everything went well, they're exactly even, nothing else happens at this point. So we're applying then some of these credits possibly to the 941, which is typically filed at the end of the quarter, but we're trying to get it proactively, and the way we would do that is basically first figure out what the credit would be, and then basically reduce the amount of payments that we would typically be making throughout the quarter possibly right? And then it'll reconcile out at the end of the quarter when we do the 941s, now calculating the payroll liability, taking into consideration the fact that we had these credits in place so that we only paid the amount that would be paid during the time period, along with that after taking out the credits. So that's kind of how some of these items will work, how some of these benefit programs are being put into place. So if there are insufficient federal employment taxes to cover the amount of the credits, an eligible employer may request an advance payment of the credits from the IRS by submitting Form 7200, advance payment of employer credits due to COVID-19. So in that case, you're going to say, okay, we're going to look at the credit. The credit is applied to the quarter-end tax return, so you would think that you would see it on the quarterly tax returns, which are typically filed at the end of the quarter, but we're going to try to take the credit proactively by not paying some of the taxes we would otherwise pay if didn't have the credit during the quarter, and then it should match out at the end of the quarter. But then the question is, well, what if the amount of the credit is greater than the amount that we would be paying in? Do I have to then wait for the filing of the Form 941 to get the difference? Possibly not. So you're first going to look at the deposit and think about that. And then if that's not sufficient, then you're going to be taking a look at the Form 7200, which is the advance payment of the employer credits due to COVID-19, which may allow you to get the benefit before the end of the quarter for anything that's over and above possibly the deposits. So for more information on that, you can see some of the links here, including the related tax credits for the required paid leave provided by small and mid-sized business frequently asked questions for the COVID-19. There's a link to that here. There'll be a link to this in the description.